Hey everyone, welcome to 5 More Minutes, the show where two friends relive their childhoods or, in some cases, learn about everything they missed out on. I'm Kendra.
And I'm Jacki.
Yeah,
No,
because
Scott.
Scott's a bitch.
I'm the
I'm just kidding. Scott's not a bitch. Sometimes. One of my students was like, Miss, I was listening to your podcast and you said I'm Kendra, and then your friend, I think his name is Scott, he said, I'm Scott. And you were like, hell yeah, you are, bitch. And I just thought that was so funny. I laughed really hard because you never swear.
I mean, probably shouldn't be in the classroom, but wait, how old
Yeah. I mean, some teachers do.
are you? Like middle school teacher? I forget.
No, high school.
Oh, okay. So I can curse.
Sometimes my students act like middle schoolers.
Mm,
They know who they are.
well, sick burn.
Yeah.
Um,
Scott's like all busy and stuff though, so
yep.
Jackie's filling in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Got the text at work today when you asked me what am I doing at
Like 3 hours ago.
Yeah. I was what could she possibly want at 7? I was like, and then I was like, oh yeah, the podcast, that'd be fun.
Yeah, because like Scott and I planned like 2 days ago to record today, and then I was like, wait, what time are we recording? And then he was not feeling it. But I did tell him what we were gonna record, and he said he was gonna listen to it. Like,
Good.
yeah, bitch, you better listen to it. Jeez.
The tastes of a generation.
Yeah.
Do you have any jokes? Because I don't, but do you?
No, because I've been forgetting lately that we even do that. Because my brain can barely process.
It's in the early era. Maybe you should do a different like thing instead. Like, you guys usually talk about like you have the shoe corner, as I know. I'm an avid listener.
Yeah.
I have not got any shoes lately. I can tell you that
They came out with some SpongeBob Pumas.
I saw that. I would wear those. I love SpongeBob. SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Well, I just started wearing lace-up shoes for the first time in like a month because I can like bend over now.
Oh, I was like, what? That's weird. But then I I was like, why haven't you been wearing shoes? This doesn't make sense. I was so confused.
Is never when you're getting into a car and your leg is outside of the car, be aware of that leg because it could close on you and mess up your leg real bad.
I'm still mad about my shoes getting stolen. And then
what?
Yeah, didn't you see that?
No.
My package got delivered and they were really hard to get shoes. Like they took so it was like a raffle and there was only like 200,000 pairs. Like Scott didn't get them and I got them. And less than an hour after they got delivered, someone took them off my porch.
Huh.
And I live on like a dead end. We never get traffic. My neighbors have a camera. Like they didn't even look. Like their camera is visible. You can see it because it's their door's right next to mine. And they sent it to me and I zoomed in and they're just like shuffling packages from the front and back. Like they were just driving up and down all the streets. Like they didn't know that they were stealing a shoe worth $300, but they did. I got refunded by Nike, but like, and I did a police report, but
freaking,
I was so mad.
Yeah, when they're like, "Oh, it's stolen," they're always like, "We'll do something," and I'm like, "You're not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna."
Well, there's not that much they can do unless someone else's camera got the license plate, because you could see the car, but you couldn't see the plate. So like, there's no way to run. You know what I mean? Like, there's no way to really know who it is just based off of like, a blurry picture of their body.
That sucks. All the days to get your packages.
I know, and it hadn't even been an hour because like Nisa's been coming over and like letting Memphis out and stuff, so I wasn't like concerned about it. I was like, oh, someone will be there in like 2 hours to like put the package in. Yeah, guess not.
Bad news bears.
Yeah.
Trying to think if there's any other interesting things. Oh, when does the Matt Damon shoe movie come out?
I think in
April. You guys should go and like you.
Yeah, I told Scott we needed to see it in theaters. Yeah. I also really want to see the Dungeons and Dragons movie. I wonder how long it'll be in theaters for.
I've heard it's like good. I mean,
yeah, you would hope that they would do one. The rating is still not great just right now on IMDb, but it hasn't been out that long. It's been out for less than a month. So
well, I feel like with those, it's kind of hard to tell if it's like who's watching it. Is it the general public or is it people who are very into D&D and then they're very critical,
Yeah. I feel like the initial reviews are probably going to be people who are really into it.
I saw some little blurb about that Joe Manganiello. I'm probably saying his
Joe Mang.
You know who I'm talking about? That guy.
Yeah, I need to read his name to remember how to say it.
Yeah, Manganiello. But he is apparently like producing a show or something. It was like Joe Manganiello's D&D show could be as good as Game of Thrones, and I was like, that's some hype right there.
Yeah, he has like a writing credit in one of the manuscripts or something. It's a documentary, it says.
Ooh, a documentary. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fancy.
Yeah, he's a hot guy.
Yeah,
Manganiello. Manganiello.
I don't.
Man in yellow.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, is it Manganiello? Because then it's like black and yellow, or is it like Manganiello?
He was on One Tree Hill.
But is that a good segue? Speaking of hot guys.
Yeah. So since this is last minute and I didn't want to continue talking about The Last of Us without Scott, I figured we would segue into something closely related to The Last of Us thanks to my students, which is hot guys. So we each brought 3-ish hot guys.
They are. Come on out.
Oh, I was like, what? I was like, does she have a poster with?
I just like we brought them, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah. In our minds, in our nog-nogs, we brought 3-ish guys that we thought were hot from the 2000s to 2010s. And we're gonna compare the type of hot men that us millennials who grew up in that era found hot compared to the very odd type of hot man that Gen Z finds hot. And by Gen Z, I mean my 15-year-old students. And more specifically, my sophomores.
I mean, we're going to kind of talk about like how, like who the people or whatever like changes throughout generations. Cause like,
I think it says a lot about us, like sophomores or Gen Z. I think they might have daddy issues.
Well, yes. Yes, but also there's ends of the spectrum. Like I have an example that I'm like,
yes. I have another one who's not a daddy issue thing.
Exactly. So
I have one that might be and one that's not. So
yeah, it'll be interesting. But I did. I'll be honest. The people who I chose are not from the 2000s and 2010s, but they're alive.
Wait, what do you mean?
You'll know what I mean.
Okay. Should I start?
Sure, you go, and then I'll go, and then you go.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll start with okay, I'm gonna start with my number 2 and then do my number 1 and then tell you the rotating list who I couldn't decide between for the third spot.
5 honorable mentions.
Yeah, okay. So number 2, Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
I feel like because of The Notebook and stuff, especially, he was like pretty pops with the people our age.
That is true.
And he still is. Like he's turned into a very handsome man.
Yes. I think I kind of like nowadays Ryan Gosling more than
he's a little bit more crisp.
Yes. I really
also, what is this Barbie movie? I feel like I mentioned this some other time when Scott and I were talking about Ryan Gosling, but
I'm so excited.
But like okay, you're excited.
Yes.
I don't know anything about it.
Oh my gosh. The girls, gays, and theys. I'm so excited for the Barbie movie. I'll let you know. And being Ken, oh my gosh, it's gonna be a cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah, well, Ryan Gosling wasn't a lot of stuff that I actually haven't watched from the 2000s, but The Notebook, and Remember the Titans, which is a football movie. He was in those. Those are probably the 2 like biggest ones from that era.
Yeah,
and then something called Stay, Half Nelson, Fracture. That sounds familiar. Is that a popular movie?
I have never seen it. He was in Drive, which he was good in Drive.
Yeah, and that was 2011, so that's like right on the cusp of.
Oh,
and then Crazy Stupid Love the same year.
Yeah,
but I mean that's geared towards people our age, so it.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean you were still in high school in 2011, so you're fine.
Yeah, and like if we're getting down to the dates, I feel like my guys are not gonna pertain to it.
That's okay. I mean, but you're a millennial, so it works. It's showing 2 different perspectives.
Yeah, but I feel like me as a millennial, I'm still in the millennial timeline, but anyway. Okay. Any other thoughts on Ryan Gosling? I mean, The Notebook kind of like skyrocketed him, I feel like.
Yeah, I think it's mostly The Notebook because those books were popular and that movie was really popular.
So what is
I know I watched
about Ryan Gosling? Like,
what is it about him?
No, what is attractive about him?
Oh, well, that's the same thing.
Okay.
I feel like, hold on, let me zoom in on his face.
You're like,
I personally think that when it comes to men, I have a thing for like lighter haired men.
Okay.
That seems to be like, I'm not listing Liam Neeson, Jesus Christ, Liam Hemsworth. I'm not listing Liam Hemsworth in this because that was a more college aged Kendra. But I think it's like his eyes. Like, I think it has something to do with his eyes and then his like facial structure and the way his ears just kind of like gently fold out from his head.
Okay. I feel like
And he's Canadian.
Ew, that's nice. That's
Yeah.
with him, we could get some free healthcare.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a plus.
And he has one of the, in his younger ages, he has one of those like inset neck things.
Is that that just reminds me of that smoker commercial where that.
But have you seen the way he looks for Barbie? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
And I mean, it is not meant to be super attractive because he's like
he's
tan to a crisp.
The cut off denim shirt and the blonde hair is just weird.
It's camp. It's gonna be so campy and good.
Yeah, a cult classic, maybe.
Yes, for it's even out.
Do you want to share one of your hot men, or do you want me to keep going?
I will share one of mine. Okay, so I feel like all of mine have a caveat slightly. So I'm gonna say Leonardo DiCaprio, but it is.
I almost added.
But
he's
it's
in my rotation.
1990s Leonardo DiCaprio, not current.
Yeah,
so
like Titanic.
Exactly. Because like
Romeo and Juliet, Titanic. Because he's a creeper now.
Oh my gosh, like
the
90s. But like now I'm like, I mean, he looks fine, but you know, his whole like, did you hear about that thing where he's like dating that 19-year-old?
Yeah. And well, because I called Nisa and I was like, I can't think of a third guy. And I was like, what about Leonardo DiCaprio? And she was like, he's gross.
No, that's why I'm like, back when I was in high school and I watched Titanic for the first time, and then I watched Romeo and Juliet, and then I watched like everything he was in.
Catch Me If You Can, like all that stuff.
What?
Catch Me If You Can.
Yes.
That's a good movie.
Yes. I was like, I do not care about this movie, but Leonardo DiCaprio is in it. So yeah, 90s Leonardo DiCaprio, not current creepy. Now I feel kind of bad for picking him because he is kind of a skis, like gross.
Yeah.
But he was
but I mean, he was really young in the 90s. Like he's 48, so 20, 30, 25 years ago, he was like 23. You know what I mean? Like
did I tell you that, like, okay, so speaking of The Last of Us, so when it came out that he was dating that 19-year-old, people were so that he has the same age difference with his girlfriend as Pedro Pascal and his that girl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like if they were dating. So that's why I was like, whoa.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's nasty.
Yeah, I thought about considering him because people definitely thought that he was like cute. He was more of like the when we were like littler, I feel like, or like I don't know. And I mean, we watched that weird Romeo and Juliet in Mrs. Barton's class, I think.
You guys are so lucky. We had to watch the really old one. She must have watched it with you guys and then decided she hated it because she like smack talked it. Like
I think maybe, unless I watched that somewhere else. I'm pretty sure it was with her though.
Because I think
maybe we watched both because I kind of do remember the other one.
I don't know, but she was like, we are not watching that god awful Baz Luhrmann one, and I was like, I like that movie.
I mean, he's in really good movies though. Like all those movies he should have won an Oscar for, but he didn't.
Yeah, I mean, he was good in Django. He was good in even though
he's in Inception too.
Yeah.
Some of his newer movies I never saw, but I know they were really good. Shutter Island's good. Yeah. Actually, a lot of his 90s movies I've never even heard of. Basketball Diaries.
I've heard of that one. I've never seen it. I think he is like a some kind of drug addict in that one.
Total Eclipse. This Boy's Life. The Man in the Iron Mask. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. There was some
Marvin's Room.
What? There was some Western movie that he was in that I remember watching just because he was in it, and I was like, this is garbage.
The Quick and the Dead.
Yes. Yep. It was on TV.
1995. Wow, there's a whole trove of like, I don't think I've really seen anything, and I didn't even watch the Titanic until like a few years ago. I had never seen it, but I don't think I saw. So I don't think until then I don't think I've seen anything pre 1997.
Yeah. Well, one of his earliest ones I've seen is What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever watched that.
That one I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this, but I feel like he's a very millennial answer,
Yeah.
because
Especially probably with the little bit older millennials too.
yeah.
Like I feel like still for us, if we saw some of those like younger movies, but since he's a little bit older, he would have been more like the
Mhm.
teenage heartthrob type of person for them.
Yeah, because
Is what eating Gilbert Grape a movie? Or I
yeah.
mean a book, I mean.
I don't know if it's a book. It might be.
Hmm.
Maybe you're thinking of The Grapes of Wrath.
I mean, I do know what that is because Mrs.
What's the Gilbert?
Caldwell made us read it.
Yeah, I hated that book.
Oh yeah, it says it's based on a book. Based on a book by Peter Hedges.
Hmm. Nice, nice. All right.
You can probably guess my next one.
Okay, let me Liam Hemsworth.
No, I said I wasn't gonna do him because he's more college age, Kendra.
Oh, I don't know. The other Hemsworth.
No, Chad Michael Murray.
Oh my gosh.
I put him as number one because I was so obsessed with One Tree Hill and he's in the Cinderella story and he's in 13 or Freaky Friday, which one is it?
He's in Freaky Friday because Mark Ruffalo's in 13 going on 30. But it's kind of funny you bring him up because I listen to horror podcasts at work all the time. And I was listening to the one about about House of Wax, which he was in. And that's just kind of funny because that movie is very about like all the popular, I mean, they cast a lot of popular people at the time, like Paris Hilton is in it, and that was like the big thing. And then like the guy from Supernatural's in it, and then Chad Michael Murray's in it, and I don't know who else. Some Alicia Cuthbert, I feel like she's in some show. Was she in One Tree Hill? I don't know.
Who?
Alicia Cuthbert or
no
Elisha? I don't know. What about Sophia Bush? Is that she in? Maybe I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's in that one where they try to get the guy. What's his name?
Don't Hooker Must Die.
Yes, that one. Wow.
All right. So Chad Michael Murray.
Yeah. I mean, and see, he's like a similar look to Ryan Gosling.
He's blonde.
Like the blonde hair, the eyes, the facial structure.
I feel like he's more like I feel like Ryan Gosling's
he's a little
like
bit
this, and his is more like round. The structure.
Yeah, well, in his older when they're as an older person, I feel like their face structure is a little bit more similar. But he does have a little bit bigger ears, like bigger as in like longer, taller. But yeah, I don't know. I really liked One Tree Hill. That was probably the most basic millennial thing about me. I feel like was the sports dramas.
What was I gonna ask? I was gonna ask something. Now I can't remember. Like, what is his character in One Tree Hill? Like, is he a bad boy? Is he a good guy?
No. so him and the other guy, Nathan, who's played by James Lafferty, who was the only person who was actually a teenager. He was actually the age. What?
Is that the guy that got his nipple ring touched? Remember?
Correct. Yeah.
It was him.
They're half brothers, but they're like only a couple months apart in age. And his mom got pregnant in high school and then left for college and broke up with her and then met Nathan's mom and got her pregnant. But he acted like he never wanted anything to do with Lucas, who's Chad Michael Murray's character. And so he grew up kind of like just with his mom, like his uncle taking care of him. He was like super into music, really liked to read and write. So like a very relatable, I mean, not the mom growing up with just a mom thing, but like whatever that part. And then he never played basketball because Nathan played basketball and he didn't want anything to do with Nathan or his dad because
he didn't want to be in his
dicks. Yeah, but they did end up becoming like actual friends / brothers and stuff. So it like worked out. But I think it was like the broody teenager thing that I liked.
Okay. So he was kind of angsty.
Yeah. But angsty for reasons. You know what I mean? Like he had reasons to be angsty.
Trauma.
Yeah.
Nice. Should I say my next person?
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay. So again, this person, but in the 90s. I'm gonna say Johnny Depp. 90s Johnny Depp. I mean,
that's who Nisa said I should say, and I was like, but that's not really like my type. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of picking these very like classic you know.
I kind of assumed you would pick Johnny Depp, actually.
Okay,
so
but like
that was not surprising to me.
Okay, that's good because again, like his like early movies, like I mean, I don't know, Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm like, he's okay, but like as attractive, no. Like he
Yeah,
looks
he didn't
so
age
nasty.
well. Yeah, like he really didn't age well. Like I just Google searched Johnny Depp 90s.
Well,
Well, he aged okay,
older.
but like
That's fine. He's an older gentleman, but like, I mean, like
yeah.
in Pirates of the Caribbean specifically, you know, some people are like, "Oh, Jack Sparrow's so hot." I'm like, he probably smells like 5 miles away. Like, I cannot find. I mean, Orlando Bloom is in that movie too, so like, just look over there. But yeah, so I'm gonna pick Johnny Depp, and I think, have you ever seen Sleepy Hollow? Like
I
a
don't remember if I watched it or not.
Okay, well, he the cheekbones, the like flowing dark hair. I'm just like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like
so it's the flowy hair for you.
I guess so. Now that I'm like thinking about it, I'm like Leonardo DiCaprio has that floppy hair, and then yeah, he has that big poofy. I mean, not so much in like Edward Scissorhands, obviously, because it's like, what are we doing here? But you know. What else? I feel like I kind of went through a phase of watching Johnny Depp movies again.
You did.
Yes.
Oh, you mean recently?
No, not recently. Just
Oh.
like, you know, once I'm like, I discovered Johnny Depp. I mean, again, older. I never have seen Ed Wood. That's one on my list. Cause I mean, if it's like Johnny Depp and Tim Burton, then I'm just like, I'm gonna watch it. Except for recently. Like, you know, Alice in Wonderland, I'm like, we're straying from the light. But yeah.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Okay, so let me explain to you. Are you done talking about Johnny Depp?
Yes, I have nothing else.
Okay, why I had such a hard time. Because then I was like, well, who can I pick for number 3?
Okay.
Right. So these are some names that crossed my mind. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
Because you know, like Brokeback Mountain, Donnie Darko, which I still have never seen.
Donnie Darko.
But I feel like he was. Yeah, I've never seen it.
Oh.
But I feel like he was in a lot of things that I don't know. I feel like people were just like, "OMG, Jake Gyllenhaal," and I think it's the eyes again.
I'm thinking of that meme that I send to the group chat sometimes, where it's like all his eyes. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's like eyes are fucking.
He has really blue eyes and he has darker hair, so I think it just I don't know.
I mean,
Like it
he's
just like
a good looking guy. It's kind of like interesting though, because I feel like he hasn't really done any like rom-coms or anything where he's in a like attractive setting.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, Donnie Darko, he's like super box dye hair, black, and then he's like sweaty all the time and super like,
Mm-hmm.
and then I mean, Brokeback Mountain, you know,
Which I still have never watched, but
it's also, I mean, that's depressing. Like, it's a depressing movie. Heath Ledger's cute.
yeah.
I like Heath Ledger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who else on your
Okay. So then I was like, what about musicians? You know, because you got JT, you know, and people liked him. I never really did. I was never really a boy band fan, really. But I mean, if you look at what NSYNC looks like, Justin Timberlake is definitely the most attractive.
I don't even know who else is in.
I don't know what the rest of them look like. I don't know any of their names.
Is that with Joey Fatone? Is he in?
I think he is NSYNC.
Okay.
Oh, is he Backstreet Boys?
That's why I'm like, I don't know. He might be Backstreet Boys. We're gonna get our millennial cards taken away.
Well, no, he's in NSYNC. Yeah. Okay. Because I just didn't listen to that type of music. Like I was still in my like country/60s music phase. Mm. Like I kind of skipped that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, he was in movies and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he had his whole like solo career, like I'm bringing sexy back. You know, like people were like, "OMG, we love being sexy" or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, what about Adam Levine? Because like I feel like people also thought he was pretty attractive. I don't know that I did, but I feel like he was like up there, you know.
I guess I don't know. He's out by him. I'm kind of like, but yeah, there was a moment. I feel like he had his time. Like, yeah, they played the Super Bowl or whatever. Like, that's Maroon 5 guy, right? Like, I'm like, am I talking about this right now?
Yeah, Maroon 5. Yeah,
yeah. So, but again, I'm like, what kind of Maroon 5 music do I like? Just the music, 90s.
Mm-hmm. So I think I was having a hard time because I was like, well, I don't really know like I don't know that I remember enough like who I thought was hot besides those two that I said. And like probably some like country singers that are like old now, not attractive. You know what I mean? But like people also Jesse McCartney. People loved Jesse McCartney. Like Nicole. Oh my gosh. She was like obsessed with Jesse McCartney.
Okay. So the thing with Jesse McCartney that I only think now, like apparently somebody like I think he was like tweets or something, and he was liking a bunch of pictures of like feet, so he might have a foot fetish. Like a Jesse McCartney. But I was also gonna say like Zac Efron, like back then.
Yeah.
Like I feel like and even then I was like, I guess I should like him because everyone likes him kind of thing. Like I'm like, did I really like Zac Efron? I mean, like
I feel like that for me was again like maybe a little bit later, but I actually feel like I think his brother is a little bit more attractive than him.
I don't even know who his brother is.
His brother is in that movie.
Completely
the one where they're in the house and it's like the family and it's like a frat house.
That's James Franco's brother.
Oh, you're right. I'm not then not that's who I was talking about. I was talking about Zac Efron. I got confused. I confused myself. Yeah. Also, what about Jensen Ackles? You know, Supernatural.
Yeah. Oh, I was talking about the other Supernatural guy is in House of Wax.
Oh.
I love again. Jared Padalecki, I think is how we say his name.
Oh yeah. Padalecki. He's a Padawan. I'm gonna call him Padawan.
Anytime we talk about that guy, just Padawan. Like, oh, you know Padawan? I'm trying to think of like other like people who are popular in our day that wasn't.
Did I already say Ashton Kutcher?
No, but yeah,
because I feel like him. And then I was leaning towards picking Joseph Gordon-Levitt. And that was a little bit later for me too. Like more once I lived with Megan because she's like obsessed with JGL. And then the first one that I thought of was Christian Bale as kind of like our generation's like a little bit older guy that we thought was hot.
Yeah, I feel like once he became like Batman, then it was like, oh, but then I mean after that he kind of did more serious movies, so it wasn't really like high schoolers watching that. It was like
he also has a big forehead.
He do be having a big forehead. I feel like his lips are very like funky. Like he doesn't.
Yeah. I feel like he looks a little bit like he looks good in some pictures, but not good in other pictures.
Yeah. This guy isn't on my list, but I'm thinking of him because he was in a movie with Christian Bale. But like Hugh Jackman, I feel like that's like the last generation. Like, my mom likes Hugh Jackman kind of thing. I mean, I do too. Like, because he's just like.
And I feel like in the X-Men movies, like he still looks pretty good. So maybe he's more like our older.
Is he our?
I mean, Christian Bale is just now 50, so he would have been. I guess he would have been. So he was like 30 in Batman.
Well,
Hugh Jackman.
I guess
is 54. I guess he's not that much older. He's only 5 years older. What about Daniel Craig? Because he's also pretty nice looking.
He's a little too old for me.
I
never looked at him that way. I was just like,
he's the same age as Hugh Jackman.
I don't care.
Like he just looks different.
Yeah.
I don't think I would consider him. He plays a good James Bond, but
yeah, I just never looked at him and I was like, ooh, heartthrob. I was like, that's a nice, handsome man, I guess.
Yeah. But anyway, so I had a whole big rotation in my head and I was like, who wouldn't be on that list? And then I was like, Chad Kroger.
Nickelback.
Look at his photograph. You'll see.
Yeah. Look at his.
It makes me laugh.
I mean, he has ramen noodle hair. So did JT. So.
Yeah, but I think JT kept his shorter, so it like looked a little bit better.
So it looked more like ramen noodles. It looked like. Yeah. And then Chad Kroger has cooked ramen noodles.
Yeah. Okay. Who you got? Who's your third?
Okay. So I'm gonna do a 2 for 2 because I had somebody and then I just thought of a better one. I think. So I was gonna say 90s again. 90s Guy Pearce. You know who Guy Pearce is?
Yeah, but not really, to be honest. So
that was who I was gonna say, but now I feel like
that guy.
I can say more accurately, but this is more of a college thing too. I'm gonna pick Rami Malek. You know who that is?
Oh, wait, I think he might have been on this BuzzFeed thing I was just looking at.
But he's the Mr. Robot guy.
I've never seen that.
Oh. He was in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh no, he's not on this. Oh, I actually don't think I ever watched that.
All right. Well,
This
was
BuzzFeed list has Usher and Nelly on it. Rami Malik. Oh, he looks familiar. Oh, his eyes.
Yeah.
Oh, is he the guy who plays my brain doesn't work. Freddie Mercury?
Yeah. Yes.
I see.
Yeah, he got them Jake Gyllenhaal eyes. Got them big old eyes.
His eyes are a little bit big for his face. But I think it depends on the picture.
Yeah.
But his ears really do stick out from his head.
You're like good ear.
He doesn't look 41.
Oh, I did not know he was that old.
Oh, there's a picture of him with Daniel Craig.
Wow. Look at it all comes together.
Because he's in No Time to Die. Oh, I didn't watch that one. That's like the most recent James Bond movie.
Oh, I feel like they come out all the time, and I'm like, I don't think I've seen any of the James Bond movies. I'll be honest.
I think there's maybe been 2 I haven't seen.
But
did you know that he has an identical twin brother?
Yes, I did know that actually.
His name is Sammy.
Yeah,
and he's a qualified teacher.
Yes.
Yep. He's a researcher.
Interview where he was like, I have a brother, and he's like, he's right over there. He's like,
wow.
Okay.
Fascinating.
But bouncing back over to Guy Pearce, you should watch Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. He plays a drag queen in it. It's just like meant for me, I think. This is
Priscilla, Queen.
And then type in Guy Pearce. He's honky.
Guy Pearce, bitch. Images. Oh, what is going on? Why? What are they supposed to be?
The drag queens.
But why are they all yellow and red? And what are they like? What?
They're lizards.
What's their theme?
They're lizards because it's an Australian
movie.
So they do like all these Australian looks. Like at one point they're the Sydney Opera House, and then they're like,
all right, mate.
Yeah, it's pretty fierce. Pretty fierce.
It's fierce for Pierce.
Yep.
Exactly. Okay, Scott did weigh in.
Okay, let's hear.
I asked him if he wanted to have a hot guy take for our era, or if he wants to critique next time, which he will probably still do that. But he responded, Brad Pitt is classic.
Okay. That's kind of like
his young Brad Pitt. He had the bleached top. He was married to Jennifer Aniston. He had a cameo on Friends.
Yeah, and then Jennifer. Who was the other one? Angelina.
He was married to
Angelina.
Oh, I was like, he was married to another Jennifer?
I know. Oh gosh.
Man, he's been in so many movies though.
Yeah.
Wow. Here's another person with a bunch of 90s movies I've never heard of. Well, actually, I have heard of some of them. I've just never watched them. But wow, he was in a lot of movies. He was in, holy shit. Okay. He was in 2 1990 movies. He was in movies before this, but 2 1990, 3 1991, 4 1992 movies, 2 93s, 3 94s, 2 95s, 1 96, 2 97, and 98, and 99, and 2000. Yikes. But anyways, Fight Club, classic. I've met Chuck Palahniuk. If you don't know who that is, get out of here. Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Ocean's 12, Troy, Sinbad. These are all 2000s movies.
What about Mrs. Caldwell? Remember she was like obsessed.
Oh my gosh, she was so obsessed with him. Didn't she have like multiple posters?
She had that huge Legends of the Fall, I think it was, like banner in her office. Do you remember you would go in there and it was just this huge banner?
Oh yeah.
Whole, like wall.
It was really dirty in her office, so I didn't like going in there.
She would be like, go in there to get something, because she would never go in there, because I'm like, that's your office.
Yeah. And sometimes we would have like parties in her class. I didn't have her for Spanish, but we would sometimes have like drinks and snacks or whatever. And then the cups we would use would taste like dirt, like dust.
Nice. Gotta bring the solo cups, brand new.
Wait, how old is Brad Pitt? Because he's in a movie in 1988. He looks like
must be like
full
60.
adult.
I bet he's 60 almost, or 58, I guess.
Let's see. Let's go back. Brad Pitter. 59.
Wow, right in the middle.
He's from Shawnee, Oklahoma.
Good for him. So I think, have we said both of our picks for attractive?
Yeah.
So should we move on to compare millennials versus what is
They had 6 kids and they were only married for 5 years?
Well, I think they adopted a lot of them.
Oh, because some of them are like 21.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, Jesus Christ.
It's like such a thing. Like it was like all these paparazzi pictures where they like had a baby in one hand and another baby and like 2 kids on the walk in, and it was like they had a lot of kids.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I just got very concerned for a second. Okay, so I've had two names for Gen Z that have been mentioned more than others. I'm going to start with the less obvious one because you already know what the other one is.
Yep. Yeah.
So the other name I've heard several times is Timothy Chalamet.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. That's like I have like boys in my class who are like, oh, Timothy, like one of the students, he's probably listening to this, so whatever. But on that Pedro Pascal wall, he literally wrote something about Timothy Chalamet being better.
Well, okay, so I mean, I feel like we all know
he's in Dune though. So
I have never seen Dune, but so I think it's interesting because it's like the wide spectrum of like Timothy Chalamet looks like a sickly Victorian child.
And yeah, he's like the sickly king who would go, oh.
Like he looks so like ill and pale and just like frail. And then versus Pedro Pascal, which is obviously like way older. And like I'm just so opposite that's why it's interesting that there's not
really Pedro Pascal is 20 years older than Timothy Chalamet.
Good for him. Good.
Yeah. Yeah, he's bilingual, or Timothy Chalamet is English, bilingual in English and French. He went to Columbia.
Wow.
Well educated.
Trying to think, have I even seen anything with him in it?
Dude, it says he's in Interstellar, but I think probably not a main character.
Yeah, I do not remember him in that. I know some of his other big ones is Call Me by Your Name with that cannibal guy, and then what was that other one, Bones and All, where he's a cannibal. That was like a whole thing. I wouldn't mind seeing Bones.
Yeah, he's in the newest Dune.
Yeah.
And he plays one of the main characters. Yeah. Paul Atreides.
Isn't Paul the one that you guys kept getting on your quiz, or was it the girl?
It was we both kept getting Paul and the girl.
Yeah, those are the only options. I might watch Dune when the second one comes out, so then I can just watch them back to back. That's my plan.
I need to finish reading the book I started 13 months ago. I made a goal to read more this year, and I was doing good until I started coaching softball because I'm too tired. Like I'll try to read and then I just like want to fall asleep.
Yeah, don't blame me there. Another Gen Z person I was gonna bring up, which I feel like he falls into the Venn diagram of like Timothy Chalamet, is like Harry Styles. Like I feel like I hear him a lot.
Yeah, also a little bit more like feminine male, I guess.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind
like in the way that they dress and like their appearance.
Yeah, which I think that that's cool. There, it's like you got more of the I don't want to say like gender bending or anything, but more like less toxic masculinity.
Less gender conforming.
Exactly.
Maybe.
But then again, I'm like, then Pedro Pascal is like very like rugged man's man.
Yeah.
So that's just.
And they love his meme face picture.
His meme face.
There's like a meme. Like a meme of him.
From the Hot Ones thing or whatever?
It's like his head is tilted and he has like longer hair and it's like flowy.
I've never seen that in my life. Maybe. The only meme I have on my phone of him is that one with the nail that I sent you. That's from Hot Wings or whatever. Hot Ones.
I tried to like look up. Okay, here's a thing that compares what Gen Z and millennials think are hot, so that could be interesting to look at. But yeah, okay, the whole Pedro Pascal thing. Like, did you saw the wall? I also posted it on the podcast page, but like that happened like literally within 12 hours. I had like 35 pictures of Pedro Pascal, and it was like they wouldn't stop talking about Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, I don't know what it is that I mean.
He's fine looking, but I mean, he referred to himself as a slutty daddy. Like, who says that?
I think of that. Have you seen that interview clip of Jeff Goldblum where they're like reading tweets to him and he's like, they call him daddy. Daddy. I think that means.
I don't know if I've seen that one. I do like those. Because isn't that like, is it Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon that does that?
It's not the mean tweets. It's just an interview.
Oh, I love the mean tweets one. That one is hilarious. Whenever that shows up on my stuff, I watch it. I mean, sure, Pedro Pascal is fine looking, but like,
yeah. We might have to time out for a second because I have to pee really bad.
Okay, I'll pause it. Okay. I can't find any good links that go over like who Gen Z thinks is hot. But I was just thinking like people in general, not just guys, because they all really like Jenna Ortega.
Yeah.
And then the person who plays Robin, what's their name?
Robin.
Maya Hawke.
Oh, from Stranger Things.
Yeah, but it might just be the character more so than Maya.
Yeah, and I feel like what's his name? Like Steve from Stranger Things. Maybe not anymore. Like there he had a moment.
Yeah, I kind of wish I would have known I was going to do this when I was at school, so I could have like asked them who else they think is hot. I know when I searched earlier, Jason Momoa kept coming up, which is again like a little bit more rugged of a person than and I feel like they don't think that like people we would like Chris Hemsworth. I think they're kind of like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like it's just like odd how like
so that
different.
was good. That was like when you kind of told me what we were going to be covering. That was kind of what I was thinking too, because I was like, I feel like our generation very much gravitates towards like buff
traditional hot guy.
Yeah, exactly, because I think I mean the trifecta of Chris's or whatever, Chris Hemsworth, Chris Evans, and Chris Pine, and not Chris Pratt. But
not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore. Because they're all just like they're buff, blue-eyed, blonde guys. I mean, looking back, I am kind of like, I mean, they're kind of just dudes. Like, there's nothing like different about them or anything.
Yeah.
So I feel like Gen Z like to gravitate towards people who obviously have more unique qualities than just like I'm hot man.
Yeah, and that's probably because they're growing up in a time where it's more accepted to have more unique qualities. So it kind of makes sense. Whereas we were kind of conditioned to be like hot, good looking man with nice haircut and big muscles. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
exactly. I agree. I mean, there's a lot of interesting like artists and actors and stuff that they get to look up to.
They're all about the K-pop people too, but they need to really look into that because it's not very good for the artists.
Why? I don't know anything about K-pop, but
I've listened to like podcast episodes where they've like I should send you this one podcast episode where they like interviewed someone because and one of my students actually wrote a paper on it last year and did a bunch of research because like the way that like the industry works with trying to like make like you like they like tell you or something that they'll like send like your family will get money but then they don't and they have like strict schedules and like strict eating and like they're like forced to do all of this like stuff and then if they don't make it they just like lose everything. Yeah, like it's not like yeah, but this one person was on a podcast and it was really interesting to listen to her talk about like what it was like from her perspective because she didn't do it as negatively as like some and maybe now it's like a little bit less than it was like 5 to 10 years ago or something but yeah it was like crazy. I was like geez.
I know. Yeah, I mean I had a few like K-pop songs on my phone at one point, but like mostly the ones that play on the radio and stuff. But I mean, I remember hearing that like BTS at one point was like the biggest like group like in the world or something, and I was like, that kind of like
my students last year were like so obsessed with BTS.
Yeah. I mean that's kind of cool. Like I like watching the interviews where they go on like that like they're like a band that doesn't primarily like speak English and they're like able to go on like interviews and TV shows like around the world. So I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the Gen Z It Boys. Okay. Timothy Chalamet is on this list. And wow, he really looks fierce in this outfit. It's like a red, sparkly, kind of leathery pants, and then like a weird thing. I don't really know what it is, but it's some sort of designer thing showing off his muscles. Okay. There's a BTS V, whoever V is. Nice. Zolo Maradueno. It's XOLO. It's Spanish, I think. He's Miguel in Cobra Kai. I could see that.
Okay, I don't remember that.
Christopher Briney.
No, I'm like none of these people I know. Which I mean that
he's from The Summer I Turned Pretty. Never heard of it.
I'm becoming more and more of a like boomer because I'm just like When people are like, oh,
no, we're not boomers,
I know we're not
Jacki.
boomers, but I mean, I'm just like, I have like no idea. If someone was like, who is this person? I'm like,
Well,
oh,
I honestly bet that if I named some of these off to my students, they probably wouldn't know who they are. Conan Gray, who's
Okay.
apparently friends with Olivia Rodrigo.
I know.
We love to see it.
Yeah, he's
That's what it
a
says.
singer, I think. I've heard his songs. I don't know who what he looks like though.
Lewis Partridge.
Don't know who that is.
Caleb McLaughlin. It has no description for him, but he looks kind of
familiar, but I don't know.
Oh, he might be. Is he the guy from Stranger Things? And then Finn Wolfhard.
Okay, yeah,
who's also from Stranger Things. So I don't know. That's who's on this.
No Pedro Pascal.
Oh, someone commented, I just think it's so funny. I am from this generation, but all these it guys look exact the same. There's definitely a type: brunette, mid-length, messy hair, tall and skinny.
Exactly. That's kind of definitely what I thought like was the thing. But I mean, I don't know. This Pedro Pascal thing is just like blowing up the world. It seems like he like. I guess it was kind of when The Last of Us came out, because like The Mandalorian came out and he was in that, and like maybe because his face isn't showing too much in that one, so like I kind of heard about him, and then when Last of Us came out, they're like, ah, like, and I was like, oh, okay. Okay, here's a question: who is an older, like a very much older person that you think is attractive? Like, who's our Pedro Pascal? Maybe not our generation, but like for you.
Matthew McConaughey.
He's not older.
Older than that?
Yeah.
How old is Matthew McConaughey?
I don't know, but like someone that's like, if you...
I mean, Brad Pitt is 60. You mean older than that?
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey is 53. I can't even think of anyone older than 60.
Past 60. Past 60.
Okay, hold on. Actors older than 60. I don't know. Clint Eastwood?
Oh, he's like 90.
Eddie Murphy? Michael J. Fox? Okay. People think George Clooney is hot. I don't know that I do. Tom Hanks lost it. He's not attractive anymore. This is really, we need to do an episode where we talk about women too. I should suggest that to Scott.
Yeah, you guys.
Hold on, I'm clicking on IMDb. Hot male actors over 60. Tony Bennett, you.
I don't even know who that is. Tony Bennett.
He's a singer, isn't he? Oh, he's from Muppets Most Wanted? I think he's a singer. Yeah, he's a singer. He's won 19 Grammys. Oh, no, I don't know. Clint Eastwood, like, he was born in 1930. How about Clint Eastwood in, like, 20 years ago?
No,
like,
but he's not old.
No.
That's old. No.
But no, he's 92. 20 years ago, he was 72. Jacki, what do you mean?
He's like the crypt keeper now. He's old.
I don't know. None of these guys are attractive. They're all like bald and have gray hair.
So
Morgan Freeman.
Okay. I don't know if this is exactly my answer, but I mean, I kind of, he's got some. But another person that I see on TikTok a lot because I'm old and I'm on TikTok is Willem Dafoe. You know who that is? Yeah,
he's on here. Oh, I have it. Okay, Harrison Ford.
Okay, that's
okay. We landed. we had some turbulence, but we landed.
Yes.
He's 80. So
okay, that's perfect.
Even 20 years ago, he was 60. So it works out. He was pretty old in the Indiana Jones movies.
Yeah. All right.
Wow, that took a while.
Yeah.
Sam Elliott.
Oh, is that the guy with?
Sometimes you eat the bar.
Yeah.
Sometimes the bar eats you.
Big Lebowski man. Mm-hmm.
I guess Tom Selleck is okay looking too, but I'm landing hard on Harrison Ford. We also share a birthday, so.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and Patrick Stewart. Me, Patrick, and Harrison Ford. We're all July 13thers. We're the trifecta.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Wait. Who did you say your old guy was?
I might.
Oh, William Dafoe.
It's Willem Dafoe. Willem.
Whatever. Willem. Is it really? Oh, it is.
Yeah. I also kind of like Christoph Waltz.
What movie is he in where he looks crazy?
He's
crazy. That's a Saturday Night Live.
He's always crazy looking.
Well, he looks normal in this first picture, and then there's one where he's like.
Well, he's always crazy. That's part of his charm because he's so insane.
Yeah, you seem to like insane guys who are charming, so
yeah,
that's your MO.
Exactly.
Okay, well, yeah, lots of hot guys out there. Go find yourself one.
Yeah, I feel like was this a very shallow discussion?
Hey, we had no, it was not. We did more than scrape the surface.
Yeah,
we really dug deep. We talked about ears and
that is true.
Canada and
someone else I forgot to mention that I think is interesting. So
Mhm.
in middle school or in high school for me, obviously Robert Pattinson had a moment because he was in Twilight, and then
yeah, but he was too pale in there.
I know, but like he was a thing then, and then I mean it's kind of interesting because he kind of had a resurgence with Batman, like that's someone I feel like
he is pretty good in Batman.
Yeah, I feel like
he's also, I guess, pretty good in all the indie films he's in. We've just never seen any of them.
Yeah, I want to see The Lighthouse, but I don't think that's really him being attractive. But I just think it's interesting because he kind of had a big wave with our generation, and then he kind of had a big wave with the younger generation who watched Batman.
True.
So
true.
That's
also, I guess Taylor Lautner could have been in there.
Yeah, but what's he done lately?
He got married to someone named Taylor.
But he hasn't been in any movies because he can't act.
Yeah, he just has muscles, and he goes, "Choose me."
Yeah,
and then he goes, "I'm gonna imprint your daughter."
Oh God. Okay, we don't need to get into Twilight. Because I was thinking of Willem Dafoe and The Lighthouse. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, I've heard about this movie though. I've never seen it. I think it's rated pretty good.
What?
The Lighthouse one.
Oh, I think Scott and Keaton saw it and they said it was pretty wacky, but a wacky.
Oh wait.
Did her?
No, I don't think I've seen it. Wait, did I watch this?
I think they watched it in the Tri-Cities, so maybe you did. It's all black and white.
I might have actually, because it's playing a clip and it kind of looks
so.
familiar.
Anyway,
okie doke.
But yeah, good discussion of.
Heck yeah. Anyways, like I said, lots of hot men out there. Go get you one.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Are you gonna say your little tagline thing?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so we're wrapping up. You can like and subscribe wherever you get your podcast, download the episodes, share us with your friends and family, your friends who are your family who's more like friends and family. Follow us on our socials at 5 POD. Send us an email to 5FIVE more minutes pod at gmail.com and leave us a rating and a review because that would make us feel like we're not doing this for no reason.
Yep.
Yeah. And Jacki doesn't really post that much on Instagram anymore, but you can follow her at Jacki Linja. That's JACKILINJA. Bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're clocking out. I'll say Scott's line. You say something. Yeah. Bye.